Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 GMC Sierra AT4X. Huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this truck for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This AT4X is finished off in sterling metallic and the MSRP is just shy of $84,000. Now you have two engine options for this truck. This model is optioned with the 6.2 liter V8. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic, and it pumps out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. It is primarily rear-wheel drive, however, it does have the four-wheel drive system. Weighs in around 5,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds, and it also has a fuel capacity of 24 gallons. Now, its overall wheelbase is 157 inches. It has a length of 241.5. Its width is 81.2, and it has a height of 75.4 inches. And then in terms of its ground clearance with the slight lift, that is just shy of 11 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this model features the steel AEV front bumper, which is a nice option to have. It still retains all the parking sensors. There's fog lights integrated into it as well. And then you'll notice up top a very large grille, where there's some really nice brushed accents throughout it. Forward-facing camera, massive GMC badge with the smaller AT4X badge on the side. This also has LEDs for all of the lighting too. And then you'll notice some very nice lines that come down the hood along with the gloss black upper section there to match nicely with the grille. And then up underneath, you'll notice there are steel skid plates for the added protection. And as you've got a sneak peek, this features the Multimatic suspension. So you have that for a smoother ride and for some better articulation. Now this truck also has a very nice set of all-terrain tires with these wheels to match the exterior paint. You'll notice a very thin design for the fender flares. There's also power folding side mirrors that have a spotlight on them and a camera underneath. There's a sunroof up top, and then some really clean lines that run down the side, especially in that lower section there. And then as we work our way to the back, you'll notice there's a step integrated into the bumper. Now that is not a steel rear bumper, however, those are options that you can go with. This can tow around 13,000 pounds. There's LEDs for all of the lighting too, backup camera, parking sensors, and then the very functional tailgate. So you can use the button on the top to release this section here, where you can have a nice workbench if you would like. You can grab some items if you don't want to put the whole tailgate down. Or you have a new tailgate here. So if you have some longer items, you can use this for that extension there. Now you can also open up the tailgate just like normal. Where this does have a spray and bed liner, there's some tie-down hooks located throughout along with a power outlet, and there's also a grab handle. So you can go a step further with this tailgate and lower this section, pull that step back out, and now you can easily enter and exit. Now this truck also has the optional kicker audio system for the tailgate, so that way you can listen to some music while you are at the back of this truck and working. Now, you do need two hands in order to lock this into place, and then from there, you can easily lift it up. It's a little bit heavy with that mechanism there. It would be nice to see it power operating. That would be a great feature to have added to it. Now, as we work our way to the interior, very nice design with all of these materials. And then you'll notice too, same thing for the seats with all the white piping, just gives it a luxury vibe for this truck. Now there's also storage behind the seats, so you can easily gain access, and you can flip these seats up. So if you have some larger items that you want to store in the cabin, you can easily do that, and then when you have passengers, just fold them back down and you're ready to go. Now you do get grab handles in the back, and at 5'10", I have a lot of space. There's cup holders, these are heated seats, you have auxiliaries and climate vents there, and I have 4 or 5 inches of headroom. It's pretty large for your backseat passengers here. There's also Alcantara for the headliner. Again, another premium feeling material. You have the armrest with storage, and then the power sliding rear glass there. So very spacious for passengers in the back. Now up front, you get memory seating adjustments, power folding side mirrors. This has Bose audio, and then there's plenty of storage in the lower section. And then automatic front seats here with the AT4X badge. You also have grab handles for both of your front seat passengers. And then let's fire this up, where there's a leather steering wheel. There's paddle shifters on both sides, along with tuning and volume controls, which is nice to see. Now this is a heated steering wheel. There's your distance pacing with all the cruise adjustments. And then on the right side, there's voice commands. And then you can go through the digital gauge cluster, where you have quite a lot that you can access. So there's a lot of information just within this one tab here, where you can look at vitals, you can pull up music and navigation along with your phone, and then you have different display layouts to go into, and you can control what information you would like to be shown. And you can even get into the head-up display. So there's quite a lot of information that you can scroll through, which is helpful. Now on this left side, there's the headlight and fog light adjustments, dimmer switches for the gauges. There's also the bed light that you can control. And then you have four-wheel drive selector, different driving modes, and the tow and haul. But if you go through the driving modes, you have a few on-road and a few off-road, depending on the terrain that you are on. There's also the e-brake. You have a head-up display too, so you can go through a little bit of information depending on what you want to be shown. And then you'll notice the whole dash is covered in leather. There's two air vents underneath that. And then with the infotainment system, you do have several icons here that you can go through, and you have shortcuts on this left side. There's even a shortcut to home on this left side too. And you can scroll through information on this far right side while you're still going through info on this left. You can pull up your phone, pull up Google Maps. You have quite a lot to go into. Now underneath that, there's all of the climates. You have heated and ventilated seats, temperature where you'd like the air to go, very easily laid out, which is nice. And then there's lane keeping assist, parking sensors, engine start stop. You can open the tailgate. You can't bring it back up, however. There's traction control, downhill assist, and then a rear locker, or you can do front and rear at the same time. Now there's a little bit of storage with cup holders, and then when we put this into reverse, you can bring up quite a lot of different angles, just depending on where you need to see. So very helpful, especially if you are towing, you can pull that up, and you can get into a few others here, just depending on the visibility that you need. And then you have drive and park. You can also put this into the low range gear, which allows you to use the paddle shifters. Now there's also the trailer braking system. You have wireless charging with auxiliaries and plenty of storage. And then there's two glove boxes on the passenger side, providing you with a lot more interior storage. There's also a digital rear view mirror, garage door buttons, dome lights up top, and then you have controls for the sunroof, sunshade is manual, and there's the control for the sliding rear glass. And then as you can tell with the amount of glass, it is very easy to see over both shoulders. As we set up behind the wheel now for this AT4X, I have been able to drive these in the past. I think this is the first V8 though that I've been behind the wheel of. Most of the ones that we've driven have had the turbo diesel engine, so it's really nice to experience this NA V8 that I know a lot of truck owners would prefer having this engine just for the sound and the towing capabilities that it has. Now it's surprising that the turbo diesel does have more torque, but it has less horsepower, but the V8 here can tow a lot more. So with this full-size truck, it's definitely geared more towards being a luxury-focused truck. This even has massaging seats, which I forgot to mention. There's a button on the side of the seat that you can push. It doesn't look like there's any way to change any of those settings. You just push on it to turn it on, and of course use that to shut it off. But if you are putting a lot of seat time behind the wheel, this is definitely a great truck to drive, having luxury features like that and everything that I've already showed. But it's a really comfortable truck to drive too. We've used one for a trip where I think we drove 3 or 4 hours one way, and the massaging seats definitely helped. But with this Multimatic suspension too, it just provides you with a nice, comfortable on-road feel. It will help with off-roading situations, but with this full-size truck, you're not really buying this to off-road, but if you happen to take it in the gravel or the dirt or something like that, you'll still have those off-roading capabilities with the suspension too. And other than that, if you're just looking for a luxury-focused truck that you need all of these capabilities, you need the back seat space really. If you're bumping up to a full-size truck, it's most likely because you need that space for your passengers in the back or whatever cargo items you may be hauling with you. And even for its size, it's actually pretty easy to drive. I own a mid-size truck myself, so even going from that up to a full-size here, it's not all that hard to get used to. It's a big truck though, so the turning radius is slightly different, so you will have to put it in reverse in some situations. But other than that, it's a great place to be. Seats are really comfortable too. You don't have quite as much headroom up top as you do in the back seats, but this is a height adjustable seat, so I can get a little bit more space. So you could be over 6 feet tall and still fit nicely in this truck. And let's go ahead and put it into the sport mode for the on-road driving. And we can use these paddle shifters here and go into second gear. Here we go. Definitely sounds really good. Now these paddles aren't going to be responsive like they would be in a sports car, but you can use these mainly to hold a gear if you are towing or even if you're off the pavement. So they are functional for those purposes. Yes, they work for just driving without a trailer. I can use them to easily downshift if you need to get a little bit more power. So it is nice that they are there and functional. I've seen other trucks where it's just down on the shifter here, but it is nice, especially when you're towing. You can have a better grip on the steering wheel and easily control those. And we're still in sport mode. Here's a small acceleration. And just in the normal setting there, we could easily get up to speed. It's a heavy truck, but it definitely has a good bit of power to get up and move. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this GMC Sierra. Like you already saw, very nice interior with all of the materials. You have a very high seating position, as you would expect, not only for a full-size truck, but one that also has a small lift to it. And even with bridge bumps like that, you didn't even feel them. It's a very forgiving suspension, which is nice to feel. And so if you want a very capable truck, you need a big truck like this, certainly a great option to go with, especially where a lot of pickup trucks are closing in on 6 figures. There's quite a lot. This is just a 1500. So if you go with a 2500 or a 3500, you're easily going to be dropping close to 6 figures with those trucks. So if you want something that I would say is a little bit more on par with some basic full-size trucks, I did compare this with a few others on the times that we've had them. This seems to be a pretty good price. It's expensive for a pickup truck, but it seems to be a pretty good price for vehicles in this price range. And obviously having that V8 engine, which a lot of manufacturers are going towards twin turbo engines, they're going towards V6s, smaller displacements. You can still get the NA V8, which I know will draw a lot of people to it. But that is going to wrap it up for this GMC Sierra AT4X. Once again, a huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this truck for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.